speak to us today on the topic of what to do when your internal events just aren't producing for you. Bill Storm has helped many businesses grow and is known in the industry for his expertise in making marketing and enrolling new members both fun and easy. Without further ado, let's begin today's webinar.
Thanks, Maura. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody from ChampionsWay having me on today. I'm going to keep this to an enthusiastic 20 to 30 minutes. At the end, I'll have my contact information. If you need more help for your own individual situation, please feel free to reach out to me, and I will be glad to help you. The front page here, I have make the transformation into the 1% club, and I want to define what I mean by that. The 1% club, that's the doers. Those are the people that want to make things happen. They're the ones that bypass what the masses do, really making a difference. I'm looking for people who want to be champions not only on the mat, but also off the mat. So today's topic is going to be focused on what to do when your internal events just aren't producing results anymore. I work with hundreds and hundreds of school owners every week, and I get very similar conversations going with them, and they usually start out something like this. You know, I just don't do birthday parties or buddy days or parents' night out or those kind of things anymore because they just basically are a waste of my time. I don't get any new members out of them. So that will be the topic today, and hopefully by the time we're done today, you're going to see things in a different light, and you'll give those a go again because they just are so powerful, and I'll explain why in just a minute. This is one of my favorite quotes. I just love this. Many years ago, famed college basketball coach John Wooden said, "It's what you learn after you think you know it all that really matters." And this is so important. As martial artists, we can all understand this, right? How often have you heard it said that the real learning begins after you get your black belt? Well, it's the same is true in business. While you're learning the business, you may have heard some of the ideas, but it doesn't mean that you can execute the ideas at mastery level. So what we need to do is we need to take a look at the different things that are available to us, the tools in our toolbox, if you will, and see if indeed we're using these at a mastery level. Can we actually pull them off? Can we make them work when it counts? So let's take a look. What's the goal, first of all, of having any kind of internal event? Well, there's actually a couple of goals, but I pinpointed this as far as new member enrollment goes. But really, with any event that you have, you want the event to be incredible. You want it to be the best experience that your existing students have ever had. We call that's the sticky factor. That's what makes people want to come back for more. That's what allows them to choose or want to choose to spend the time at your dojo, at your dojang, at your school, at your academy, rather than any other choice of other things that they have to do. You know what I'm talking about when we talk about this because we all have those people that we call dojo rats. They're always there. They love being at the school. And the reason that they love being at the school is because you make them feel great. That being said, if you make them feel that good, it only makes sense that they're going to want to share that feeling with other people that they know, other people within their circle. So our goal then is to get 2 new students every time we do an internal event, whether it's a birthday party, a parents' night out, a most enthusiastic student party, any of those kind of things, we're going to shoot for 2. Now, the reason I'm saying shoot for 2 is because 6 years ago, I did a study, and I looked at how many marketing activities someone did versus how many new students they enrolled. And when I averaged it all out, generally, you would enroll about 2 new students per marketing activity that you did. So it was very easy. It became mathematical to me. If I want 20 new students, I needed to do 10 activities because 10 activities times 2 new would be 20 students. If I wanted 30, all I needed to do was up my marketing efforts and do 15 activities. Now, what do I mean by activities? Well, it could be 15 of anything. I mean, it could be you go out 15 days in a row and VIP people with Ninja Turtle tickets. It could be you do 15 birthday parties in a given month. It could be 5 birthday parties, a buddy bash, a parents' night out, a promotional booth. It can be any of those things. Now, obviously, we're all at different levels in our school. So a school that has 50 students has very different marketing needs, or the amount of activities that they need to do is not the same as a school that has 600 students. They're 2 totally separate animals. But the great thing about it is it's all scalable. The rule still applies. Now, what challenges do we face when we do an internal activity? The first one and the most important one is parents dropping off their kids, so we never have a chance to wow the decision makers. This is the same issue, isn't it? When we do a school talk, you go in and you talk to a bunch of kids and it all seems like it went so well, and then nobody signs up. Well, there's the problem. You're not talking to the decision maker. You haven't given that presentation to the right people. So I'm a dad. I've got 2 kids. If my kids have a presentation in school and they come home from school and I ask them how their day went and what went on, they just say, it was good. And then they're off because they're busy. They want to go talk to their friends. They've got homework to do. They don't expound on that at all. Other examples. I'll take my kids to different parties all the time. I'll drop my son off at a soccer party, and then I'll take my daughter off to some movie night or something like that. And the same thing happens. Nobody tells me that I have to come in, so I don't. I'm just a taxi. I take them here. I take them there. They come back out. I said, how'd you do? They said it was fun, and that's the end of the story. They put their headphones on. They listen to music. They start playing games or whatnot. So we go through all of this activity, but the problem is we didn't solve for the challenge. If you're going to have good success, you have to deal with the obstacles first and then work our way backwards to make sure that we get the results we want. How do we do it? We change our approach. This is a great quote, right? Definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. We need to do something different. So what do we do? What do we do that's a little bit different than having a party, then sending the kids home with a flyer or making a follow-up phone call that goes something like this? Hello, sir. This is Bill Stormer over at XYZ Karate. Hey, listen, your child attended one of our kids' birthday parties this weekend. It was really great. Everybody had a great time. So we're just following up to offer all the kids 30 days of lessons in a free uniform and wanted to see if you'd like to schedule the first class. Mistake. Absolutely terrible. Nothing good about that except for the fact that at least the outgoing phone call was made to try to stimulate some business. The trouble with that approach was it was all about me. It was all about what I wanted for the school. Had absolutely nothing to do with the child, with the parent. I didn't build any rapport. It was just flat out awful. So if you're looking to be that 1% club, you're looking to be that world-class person, if that's who you truly want to be, a champion on and off the mat, let's take a look at a little bit of a different approach, how I would do it so you can see the flow of it. The first thing that we need to do is we need to set the expectation with the student's parent, first and foremost. So let's say that Billy is going to have a birthday party. Well, knowing that I want to have the best birthday party I can for him, but also knowing that I want to make sure that the guests that Billy brings in bring their parents, I need to pre-frame Billy's mom and dad. So I go up to Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I'm so excited about hosting Billy's birthday party. Now, we are going to do something really cool during Billy's party. We're going to do the cut the cake with a sword. That's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have some games. We'll do pizza, all that stuff. That's going to be fun. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach the kids a routine. And during the last 15 minutes of Billy's party, we're going to perform for all of the parents. So what I need from you is this. I need you, as you invite the kids to the party, I need you to let the guest parents know 2 things. There are no drop-offs. We can't do carpooling, or parents can't just pull up and drop the kids off. If they're going to participate in martial arts and they're going to come on the mat, I must have them come in, and I need them to sign a waiver and give me their emergency contact information. Plus, safety is always first for us, and I'm not going to release a child to someone else unless I have the permission. I need to know who I'm releasing that child to. Number 2, I need you to let them know that the kids are going to be learning a routine, a demo, if you will, and at the end, we're going to perform that for them. So I need to make sure that they can come back at 1:15, for example, 15 minutes early before the party's done, so they can be the huge raving fans. They can be the cheering section and really give the kids a lot of energy, because the more energy that we have at the end of the party, the cooler it's going to be. So can you do that for me? So I have set the expectation up front of what I need them to do. And now I need to make sure that I follow up with that student's parent and make sure that they followed through, right? I'm going to inspect what I expect from them to make sure they followed through to do that. That is huge. Here's a sample demo. I just included this. If you're trying to take notes, Matt, like Matt, you don't need to worry about that. If you email me at the end or text me at the end, I'll send you this. I'll send you this presentation so you can have it and use it for staff training or whatever. So something really easy that you could teach in a demo. It could be a blocking pattern: inward, outward, upward, downward. Really easy. Punches, single punch with a key eye, then 2 punches, then 3 punches with a key eye at the end. 4-count kicking: front kick, side kick, set. Flying kicks. You can be creative with this, and then you spotlight the birthday boy or girl. Now, if you teach something else like jiu-jitsu or something like that, that doesn't matter. You can do something in the similar format, something very, very simple self-defense. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's easy to learn and the kids are going to be able to perform it at the end. Then, of course, everybody claps and cheers and it's a big deal. And then if you really want to make it over the top, you could have some sizzle time where you could have your demo team or some of your superstars come out and really light it up and make it super exciting so the kids and the parents just go, wow, that was just amazing. Now, here's the next part. Don't just go through the motions. I see this all the time, and I even see this at top schools around the country when I go visit or when I attend some of their birthday parties. They're going through the motions. They just have somebody on their team do the birthday party, and the person that's doing it is just going through the routine. They're teaching the kids, and sometimes it's even a good party. They're having fun, and they're jumping over targets, and they're cutting the cake, and it smiles and all that stuff. But the person that's running the party doesn't understand the objective. They're just going through the motions. So what are the 2 objectives? Well, number 1, the party has to be the best party that child has ever had. That's first and foremost. There's nothing that sells you more than the feeling or the experience you give someone else. But number 2, this is the most important part, is you need to build rapport with each and every guest so they want to come back. So I look at my guest list and I think about it as I'm going through the party. Have I spoken with this child? Have I made this kid really like me yet? Have I found common ground with this kid yet? So they want to come back and see me. And I need to methodically go through that with each and every child that's there. If you have a ton of kids and you have more than one staff member, you have a meeting with your staff ahead of time and you say, listen, here's the objective. I want you to handle this list of kids, and I'll build rapport with this list of kids. And then at the end, we'll be able to go through our closing routine and have a lot of success because we have targeted the kids and made sure that we've really built a good, strong relationship with them. Now, is this just for kids? Absolutely not. The same thing holds true for adults. There is no difference whether you build a rapport with a child or whether an adult. You're still building rapport. You're making them feel good and you're making them like you. That's the whole goal. Get a yes. This is your next objective. You have gone ahead and you've built rapport with each child. Now you need to tell them that you want them to come back and take a class with you. They don't know what you want unless you tell them. Here's a great picture of my buddy Shehan Haley, and you can see this little girl absolutely loves him. She's really giving him a big hug there. She obviously loves him. He did a great job building rapport with her, as he always does. So I would go to Billy and I'd say, man, Billy, you are such a cool kid. I absolutely loved having you here today. The guest would be Eric. So I would say, Eric, you are such a cool kid. I absolutely loved having you here today at Billy's party. You are so funny. I would love to have you come back and take a class with me next week. Would you like to do that? Well, if I did my job and I built rapport with him and Eric thinks I'm super cool now, he's going to say yes. If he says yes, I'm halfway there. I'm almost home free because now all I have to do is I need to go and approach mom and dad. And you can see it has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with an incentive. It doesn't have anything to do with if you do it now, I'll give you X amount of dollars off or there's some special. It's got nothing to do with that. It all has to do with the way I made this child feel. Now I need to do the same thing here, right? I get down to the brass tacks. After I built rapport with each and every child, It's time to show the parents, the audience, what you're all about. So the performance at the end gives the parents the opportunity to see their child in action, actually enjoying the martial arts. And you need to make a huge deal out of this performance. It has to be big time. It has to be showtime. You get out there and just light it up. And again, you can see these kids in this picture. Their form isn't so hot, obviously. You can see in the way they're holding themselves, but it doesn't matter. As long as the child looks like they're enjoying themselves, as a parent, if I look at my child doing something and then at the end, what's going to happen? You're going to say to your child, did you like this? Is this something you might like to do? Is this something you think you might like to keep doing? You're looking for that response from your child. If I've done a good job and really built it up and built rapport, the child's going to be shaking their head. Yeah, I love this. This is really cool, Mom. This is really cool, Dad. So at the end, we get done with the performance. Everybody's clapping. I give a round of applause, and I say some great things to the kids. And then I simply ask them, I go, guys, how many of you guys had fun? Raise your hand. If you raise your hand, the kids are automatically going to raise their hand. So that's a yes. The parent may not realize it, but subconsciously, that's the first yes that child is making to start your program. And it's the first yes in their mind that they're going to take action and enroll their student or their child in your program because their child is saying, yes, I love this. Now, the offer. Right now with the Ninja Turtles, this is so easy. This is kind of like a group kind of close. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into an individual close. So the group close is something like this. Parents, many of you may not have ever thought about martial arts as an activity your child would really enjoy. But as you can see from their performance, that the martial arts is super cool and a whole lot of fun. If you're interested in finding out more about our program, we have a table set up in the lobby. Mrs. Storm is over there and she'll be glad to answer any questions you have. Just so you know, normally we start out all of our new students with a 2-lesson trial program. It's only $29.95, and we even give the kids a free uniform. But to make sure it's something they really enjoy, if you'd like to schedule your first lesson today, we're going to give you a special discount. You can register today. It's only $10. Hey, by the way, we also have our next Parents Night Out coming up on August 8th. The theme is Super Soakers, and I'd love to invite your kids back to participate. All they need to do is bring their biggest, baddest Super Soaker and a towel. Now, why did I throw that in there? I threw that in there because I want to show them that it's not just about enrolling their child, but also all the other cool activities that we have coming up. And I'll use something like Super Soakers or whatnot because the kids get all excited about that. That's a lot of fun. So that would be type of a group close. And of course, you'd have a table set up and, you'd have your friendliest person over there at the desk to allow people to sign up. But here comes the individual approach. And you need to pay really close attention to this point. The first people that you're going to talk to are the ones that you feel are the strongest leads that you have, the ones that you have the best rapport with. So in this case, I'm giving you a real live example. At my son Billy's birthday party, he had his buddy, Eric Baker. And Eric is a really funny kid. He tells hysterical jokes. He's just a real fun kid to be around. So after I asked Eric if he would like to come back and take a class, of course, Eric said yes. He thought it was super cool. I said, Eric, we just need to go ask your mom and see what day would be good, okay? He says, okay. So we walk over, and I just said, hey, Mrs. Baker, I wanted to let you know, and this is really important. Listen to this verbiage. I wanted to let you know what a pleasure it was to have Eric at Billy's birthday party today. He was such a good boy. He had great manners, and I thought you would like to know that. Now, how do you think Mrs. Baker feels right now? She's feeling pretty proud of her son. And anybody who knows anything about kids, boys, especially 10 to 13 years old, they're not always the most polite. A lot of times they're a little bit rambunctious, and to hear that your son is being a good boy is a big deal. So now the next part comes up. I say something specific to her so she knows I know her child. And I said, he had me in tears. He tells the funniest jokes. And I remember it like it was yesterday. Mrs. Baker says to me, she says, oh, yeah, he's a real character. And I said, well, character or not, he was still funny, and I really enjoyed having him here. Eric actually told me he would like to come back and take a class with me next week. And I told him it'd be all right. I just needed to check with you first to see what day would be good. Bam. That is the end of the story. You don't need to offer a special discount. You don't need to say if you do it today. You don't need to give them a 30-day pass. You don't need to do any of that stuff. All you need to do is let the parent know that your child told me they wanted to come in and take a class, and I'm just checking to see what day would work best for you. It's as simple as that. Now, what do we do for the parents that leave or the students that leave or the guests that leave and we don't get a chance to talk to them? Well, it works exactly the same way. All we do is make the phone call. So I make the phone call and I say, hey, Mrs. Baker, this is Bill Storm over at XYZ Karate. Hey, listen, I missed you the other day before Eric left the party, but I wanted to let you know what a pleasure it was to have Eric at Billy's party. He was such a good boy. He had such good manners. I thought you'd like to know that. You know, it was funny. He had us all in stitches, right? We were just laughing so hard because he tells the funniest jokes. So you see what I did? I complimented the parent first on their child's good behavior. Then I said something personal about Eric so she knew that I knew who he was, that I actually remembered him out of all those kids. And then the last thing, I do my close and I just say, by the way, Eric told me he'd like to take a class with me next week. And I told him that would be just fine. That would be all right. I just needed to check with you first to see what day would be good. Now, what I'd like to do is I would like you to challenge you to try that approach. I guarantee you, you will set more appointments by doing that than by any kind of, fancy ad or anything like that, or any kind of special offer that you give somebody, because people now like you. They know that you're sincere. They know that you know their child, and that the kid just absolutely loves you. You will definitely set more appointments that way. All right. I already kind of went through this. I got excited. So I'm just going to skip through this here. Here's a few things. This is just a don't forget list. Make sure you friend all of the parents on Facebook. If you friend them on Facebook, they get to check out to see what's going on at your school, and obviously ask them to like your page. Make sure your Facebook page, your personal page, is super clean, that it's totally professional. I've seen all kinds of things, believe me. So just make sure your Facebook page is super clean. There's nothing questionable on there at all. You want to send home everybody with a prospect folder, right? It's just that we have really nice folders that we send them home with. And you can put some things in there, a $100 coupon for enrollment if you like. You can put in a VIP trial pass for parents if they want to try the adult class. You can put in guest passes to give out to their friends. Flyer for your next social event like your Super Soaker War. Put a class schedule in there so they can check that out. We have a nice document called Commonly Asked Questions that answers basic questions that you hear over and over and over again. And then you can add in a brochure if you have one. Now, the reason I like this is because people like to hold stuff. It's nice to get things in email and you can look at it, but it's nice to have those things in hand that they can look at. It's like coffee table type stuff, kitchen table type stuff. Parents will leaf through those things. I get them for my kids for school. You have a cup of coffee or you're eating breakfast and you're kind of flipping through and looking at some of the material. Plus, these folders end up being school folders for the kids. And there's nothing better than having your school folders all over the elementary schools in your area. So I try to keep that short and sweet. Just like anything else, every great athlete has a great coach. I would love to work with anybody that needs help. Again, I'm looking for those 1%ers. I'm not looking for tire kickers. I'm looking for people that really want to improve their schools, improve the experience that they give to their students in their community. So you can text me. There's my cell phone number right there. Give me your name, give me your email address just so I know who it is, and I'll be glad to spend some one-on-one time with you to see if there's anything that I can do to possibly help you. You can also email me right there if you'd like to get a copy of the slide presentation. I will be glad to send that out to you in a PDF form as well. So that about wraps it up. If I don't know if you do a question and answer at the end of these, but I'm open to do a Q&A for anybody that has questions.
Thanks, Bill. That was great. Awesome webinar. We will be doing a question and answer, so please type your questions into the chat box and I can relay them to Bill. In the meantime, I just wanted to remind you about our webinar next Thursday, August 14th with Dave Kovar. Dave will be speaking on how to maximize the fall season and sharing several of his strategies used by his Kovar organization. So go ahead and check us out on Facebook if you want to register for that. And do we have any questions from the audience for Bill?
I actually just saw Kyoshi Kovar just last weekend.
Awesome. So our first question for you, Bill. What about a strategy for buddy days when there are many students in class and the need to follow up is there?
Okay. Buddy days, I'll make two comments about that. With buddy days, it's really important that you set yourself up for success so you actually have buddies show up. So for instance, let's say I decide I want to make it into a team challenge, because you can't do a team challenge if just the student shows up. So I might have something like a Jeopardy buddy day or a Jeopardy parents night out, right? So in that case, I might say to my students, I'd say, guys, listen, this particular buddy day we're going to do is going to be a Jeopardy challenge where you get to win prizes. Now, you need to have a buddy with you, obviously, to do this because it's a team challenge. Now, with Jeopardy, what you're really looking for is who's your smartest friend. Think about who you go to school with, or people that you're on your soccer teams or other activities that you do. Who's your smartest friend? That's probably the person you're going to want to invite to something like this Jeopardy buddy day. Now, number two, if you have a lot of kids, then usually you're pretty good at promoting things, which means you usually also have a pretty good team, staff. So in that case, or volunteers. So in that case, you need to do a pre-event meeting with your team and let them know how many kids you're going to have, and then you kind of divvy it up. So you don't try to build rapport with each kid yourself. Let's say you've got 20 kids and you've got 4 helpers. Well, 4 helpers have to build rapport with each of 5 kids, and then they're the ones that are going to go and approach the parents afterwards. If, again, you're not able to get to all of them, no biggie. You can then do the follow-up phone call, but at least you can do the follow-up phone call with some sort of real strategy. And you're going to want to have the team members write down notes about each child, so they're the ones that actually make the follow-up phone call, and they're going to be able to recall something specific about them. If you need more help, aside from that, just reach out to me and I'll be glad to walk you through it.
Thanks, Bill. Next question from Tracy. What do you think the marketing priority should be for a school with 50 students, 50 students?
Okay. The first thing with when you're working with a school of about 50 students, you're starting off with a good base. You're ready to grow. The first statistic that you need to know is the average school loses about 7% of their student body every month. So in this case, that would be 3.5 students. I'm not quite sure how you get 3.5, but you get the idea. Let's just call it 3. So generally, in order to grow, we need to replace the ones that we lose, and then we need to gain some additional on top of that. So generally, we'll set our new member goal at 10% of our active count. So in this case, the new member goal would be 5. The losses would be 3 if you're average, and you'd have a net of 2 per month. I can actually walk you through. I have a spreadsheet that I can print out for you, or not print out to you. I can send it to you that will show you exactly how much income you should be able to generate. Now, it doesn't mean you're limited to do 5 new members a month. You can do many more than that if you're so inclined or so ambitious. But the first thing that we want to do is we want to utilize as many things as we can that don't cost money. So, for instance, I don't need to put an ad in the Clipper magazine or a Valpak or the newspaper or do every door direct mail. I don't need to spend money on that when there's so many other things that you can do that would generate business right off the bat. I like to fish with a net, not just with an individual line. So, for instance, anytime that I could do a birthday party, that's great. If I do a birthday party, that gives me a mass of kids. If I do a parents' night out, that gives me a mass of kids. If I do a most enthusiastic student party, I'll have to explain what that is, but if I create something like that, again, that gives me a massive number of people. For adults, if I did a seminar for parents and I had a nutritionist come in on weight loss, that gives me a mass number of adults that come in, and then we would tie in how our adult program would be the exercise portion, how they would have a coach that would help them, encourage them, and keep them motivated. So you want to utilize as many internal events as you possibly can first. I need to know a little bit more about your demographic. I need to know some of the area you're located in. Right now, we have a huge opportunity with the Ninja Turtle movie. If you're in a high-traffic area and you have walk-by traffic in your plaza, for instance, I would set up a table out front, and I'd have a Ninja Turtle mascot, and I would have a big sign that says, "Free Ninja Turtle tickets, ask me how," right? If you did that every single day, that would give you oodles of appointments because people would come up to you and they'd say, "Hey, how do I get the free Ninja Turtle tickets?" You say, "Well, it's easy. Anytime that a new martial arts movie comes out, people get excited about taking martial arts. Obviously, we'd love to have you take martial arts with us. So what we're doing is giving you the opportunity to come in, check us out, take 2 introductory lessons with us. Whether you join or not, we're going to give you a complimentary ticket to go see the new Ninja Turtle movie or movie of your choice. I could do Monday at 6 or Tuesday at 5:30. Would one of those work for you? Boom.
Okay, next question from Leroy Tillman. What should be in the folders for prospects versus new students?
Okay. Hey, Mr. Tillman, how are you, sir? Obviously, you can't answer me, but I want to give him a shout out. Prospect folder is information that leads the person to make an appointment. You want to get their curiosity up. That's what's in there. For a new student is different. In a new student package, you're going to have things like a welcome letter. You might give them a coupon to be able to use in the pro shop for things that they might want to purchase. T-shirts, uniforms, weapons, odds and ends, whatever you have in there. You would also hand them in something like a new student folder that gives all the rules and guidelines and things that have to do with holidays and different things like that. You're going to include those kinds of things. If you're looking for exactly what to put in each folder, I have a full outline on that. That's the cool thing about what we do. Everything is plug and play. I can send you exactly what we send out so you can actually see it. I've actually got both of those sitting right next to me at my desk. So it's easy enough for me to show you what those are.
Great. We had a couple requests. First one is someone's unable to get the waivers from the birthday parties. Is there some way they should contact you directly, Bill, for birthday party waivers?
You're saying the person on the line is saying they don't have a waiver and they would like one?
Yes. They can't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's easy. Just send me an email and I can send you over a waiver. That's no big deal.
Cool. Hello, Sensei Storm from Torrey Overstreet. How important is location for running a traditional jiu-jitsu dojo?
Hey, sir, how are you? Location is everything when it comes to real estate. And in so many cases, it's also true with running an academy, whether it's a traditional jiu-jitsu school or whether it's a taekwondo school or a kung fu school, whatever it is. Location is very important. Generally, if I was looking to open up a new school, I'm going to be looking for a community that has 30,000 people or more. That's ideal, although there's very many successful schools that I know of that are in very small communities and also do very well. They just have to be a little bit sharper. But, we're looking for X amount of population. We're also looking for a median income where people can actually afford what it is that you're selling, so that's important. And you also want to be around an area where there are the target market of people you're looking for. So if you're trying to run a school for kids, well, it only makes sense you want to be in an area that has lots of elementary, middle school, churches, other places like that would have that grouping. You also have a very good feel. If you're not comfortable walking down the street where you are, that may not be the best place for you to run may not necessarily be the best place for you to run your business as far as a profitable business anyway. If you're doing something, some philanthropic work and you want to go in and teach it in an area that's a little bit rougher just because you want to help the kids, that's a different thing. That's not the same model. Those are all things I can look at too. I can look up demographics and Google Earth and just community. I can talk to realtors in the community and just see what's what to make sure that it's a solid place.
Great. And just coming back to the question about birthday party waivers, the question was actually having difficulties getting them to fill out the waivers at birthday parties.
Okay, so again, it all goes back to pre-framing the birthday kid's parent to let them know that this is what's needed in order to participate. I'll just give you an example. I can't go. I just took my son when I went to visit family. I took him to one of those race car tracks. They won't let you on the race car track unless you fill out a waiver. You have to do it. It's not an option. If you're letting people on your floor without having any kind of permission, you're setting yourself up for a disaster, because if somebody gets hurt, you don't have any way to contact their parent. You've got nothing in writing from them to allow them to participate. It's just a big mess. So if If you are running into that problem a lot, then what I would do is I would suggest that the parent give you the birthday list ahead of time. Mom and Dad, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, what I need from you is I need a guest list. And I need to have all of the parents sign a waiver, fill out this waiver ahead of time so I can contact them individually. I can make the phone calls. I can email them if you prefer it that way. But whichever way, I'll make sure that I have all of those in my hand. If all else fails, if Eric shows up and his mom and dad aren't there, I'm going to pull Eric aside real quick and I'm going to say, hey, Eric, I need to have your mom and dad's emergency contact information. Can you give me their cell phone number so I can call them and tell them I need them to come in and sign this thing? So usually, unless the child is really, really, really small, which usually their parents, little kids are usually always accompanied. But if the child is old enough, Eric gives me the digits. I call up his mom and I say, hey, Mrs. Baker, hey, listen, Eric is here. And I had to ask him for your phone number. It's really important that I have emergency contact information just in case I need to reach you for whatever reason. Number two, I need you to pop in and I need you to sign a waiver to allow him to participate in the martial arts because it's a physical activity. Can you come in now? Hopefully I can get her to come in now. Last but not least, I'm going to tell her, listen, we're going to be teaching the kids a routine, and at 1:15 they're going to perform, and all the parents are going to be here to cheer on their child. And I wanted to make sure that you've got that blocked off in your schedule so you can be here also. Will you be able to be here? So you have to control what goes on in your business. You have to take control because, this is how you make your living, and this is how you run a professional organization. If you get lazy and you just start letting people slide, you'll also see that your results will start to slide also.
Thanks, Bill. So it looks like this is our last question here, asking for a copy of the webinar to share with their team. So again, Bill's email is posted on the screen, billstorm@comcast.net, if you'd like to contact him directly. I will be sending out a copy of the webinar, a recording of this webinar today to all registrants as well. And you'll be able to get it from our Facebook page in a couple days too if you don't receive the email. Any other questions, don't hesitate to send an email to marketing@championsway.com. Thank you again, Bill, so much for your time. A wonderful webinar, much appreciated. And thank you to everyone that's joined us today. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Moira.
Bye, everyone.